Can lower middle class students genuinely aspire for MMS and MBA?
It is more for middle class.
MBA MMS programs are really expensive.
It is not expensive.
Pressure, the word pressure, can be taken as a positive aspect.
Definitely.
Do you feel genuinely students should also work on other skills that make them corporate ready?
Corporates are demanding that the candidate should be ready day one.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Pillai Podcast, and today we are so happy to invite our esteemed guest, Dr. Ketan Vira, who happens to be the director of Pillai HOC Institute of Management Studies and Research, Rasaini. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you so much.
So, Dr. Vira, today we're going to pose some critical questions to you, which happen to definitely influence and guide the next generation of MBA students, MMS students. So, the first question that I have for you.
I'll try my best.
So, the first question that I have for you is, can lower middle class students genuinely aspire for MMS and MBA?
In fact, Dinesh, if you look at the program, whether you call it MBA or MMS from Mumbai University, it is more for middle class. Primarily because they are the learners who are going to change the fate of their family. And if you are talking about it purely on the basis of economics, it is not expensive.
So, can we say that this is a myth that MBA, MMS programs are really expensive?
Yes. Of my 20 years experience, not only middle class, I had many students from lower middle class coming from almost slums, humble background. Today they are in skyscrapers. So the only thing is the benefit of it is seen eventually, where the aspirant should be patient enough. If you honestly ask me, it is more for a middle class and the lower middle class.
Correct. And I think there's also a little fear that the admissions, the college that they appear through, should be a top B school, and this is big worry about this entire getting the best college.
So generally these aspirants, they are at the age where they want to get best, they want to get into best of the B schools, but very clearly it is purely based on the merit, which is purely restricted to the entrance examination, maybe CET, CAT or any other. But it's not merely the big B schools. There are n number of examples where the top positions of corporates are held by the CEOs and directors, those who come from a B schools which are not figured out into being the top B schools.
Yes.
And moreover, if you look at it, all these top B schools, now you can classify them in top 10, top 20, top 100, they have limited seats.
Yes.
So very clearly you have to resolve and you have to settle at the B school, which is good enough for your caliber, and moreover, they should not get into complex. Because if you look at it, the merit of the student in the B school, which is quite high, and if a mediocre student goes, there is a high possibility that they may get into complex.
Is there a big scope for students who put in the right effort with the right direction, they can genuinely excel?
Exactly. I think you have answered yourself. If you look at it, a student who has fire in the belly, irrespective of B school which he gets into or she gets into, will make wonders if he or she gives his or her best.
So I think the journey starts with a lot of self-belief, and irrespective of the college also, but I think the college also plays a good part.
Definitely. So, as you asked me earlier, also big B schools, the efforts put in by big B schools is less because they take the best of the students on the basis of the merit. And especially the B schools which do not figure out into the top, whatever you call it, 10, 100, they have to put in more efforts for their students because these students are going to compete with the best B schools, those who already have been a meritorious students.
That's a fantastic perspective, sir. Yeah. So there's a lot of pressure that I see in the youth today that they have to clear the competitive exams, clear their CAT exams, and if they don't get the best college, some of them they don't even appear for the MBA and they just give up on their dreams. What's that top thing, disturbing the entire flow here?
So, in fact, Dinesh, this is a very right question at the time when media is talking about pressure. And I do tell in class also, pressure is not bad, Dinesh. Until and unless it does not become stress. And irrespective wherever you go, we are in the competitive world. Our country is at the cusp where we have maximum youth population. Because of this growing competitiveness, some amount of pressure is bound to be there.
Yes.
However, at APIMSR, if you honestly ask me, we make our students so resilient that they are strong enough to hold this pressure. So pressure is bound to be there, especially we are in the time where we are looking at Viksit Bharat, when we are looking at so many avenues coming up, there's competition everywhere. But it's very important that how you take that pressure. you channelize your efforts into right direction, definitely that pressure is going to be there for some amount, but eventually once you achieve your goals, targets, it's done. So definitely, and that's the reason many students, they take it so seriously. They start with their entrance examination preparation 2 years, 3 years prior to getting into it. So definitely some amount of pressure is bound to be there in times to come because of growing competitive. And it's not only in academics, it is not only for academics. If you look at it, where you look at each and every sector, you look at each and every place, you'll find there's competition. So it's very natural. When the competition grows, the pressure also grows.
So can pressure, the word pressure, can be taken as a positive aspect?
Definitely. That is where we have to mold today's youth to take pressure and channelize their efforts. See, the pressure has to be a forcing factor to channelize their efforts rather than taking it on mind or heart. Then it becomes stress.
Wonderful. Great. That's a great perspective. So Dr. Vira, you just spoke about at FIMSA, you involve and ensure that the students are ready for the next level. Can you share some practical events or
there
examples?
There are many. Right now, when I'm talking to you, there are a lot of activities going on at the institute level where we have Heartfulness, which works on positive psychology. And let me make it very clear, it's a part of our timetable.
Oh, wonderful. Nice.
And for people, those who are not aware of it, the apex authority of technical education, that is All India Council of Technical Education, has approved it as a 2-credit subject.
Oh, so that's serious now.
That's a serious.
Yes.
That's how serious it is.
Yeah.
Moreover, not only so, we have a very good practice of mindful mentoring. Generally, people feel mentoring is very much prerequisite and it is integral part of a curriculum, but the way you do mentoring varies. So it's not merely a ritual that we assign mentees to the mentor and they'll take care. We have multiple mentors. A mentor who will take their care from entry to exit, a mentor who will guide them with the subject or specialization, a mentor who will groom them for training and placement, a mentor who, in fact, we also have a buddy mentoring practice where a seniors or super seniors, they come and they guide juniors. So it becomes a part at wherever you go, there is someone to hold you. So that is where at FIMSA, our mentoring is quite different from the practiced mentoring at B schools.
Wonderful, great. So in your long, illustrious career, what are the 2 things that make FIMSA a better advantage as an institute?
So it's a bit emotional question.
Yeah.
We have a student, those who come from rural area, they come from a humble background. So there's much of a responsibility on us. And we are purely involved in it because very clearly, irrespective when you are in corporate, they don't see whether you are from rural, whether you are from humble background. And today, you know that the corporates are demanding that the candidate should be ready day one. So it's a big challenge for us. And to some extent, we have succeeded, but it's a long way to go because very clearly, there's much to do with the industry becoming dynamic, with the changes requirement of the corporate. But eventually, our students' testimonials are enough for us to prove that we are in the right direction. That is one thing. Second, one of the biggest challenges is not only at FIMSA, but it is generally everywhere because of growing AI. The creativity is diminishing. So what we do is we inculcate creativity and innovation in students by several initiatives which we have through IIC. We have it through creativity and innovation programs. We regularly, there are a lot of activities where we want students to come up with creative ideas.
Oh, yes.
Which should not be available on e-sources.
Correct. So big question here is, a lot of students are involved in their academics so much, but do you feel genuinely students should also work on other skills that make them corporate ready?
So students have to strike the balance between academic and self-development. Academic is one part of self-development, but as I've been insisting always, and if you look at the other places where I've quoted it, when we talk about holistic development, which most of the institutes and most of the education institutions do talk about. So we work on mental health, we work on physical health, we work on their social quotient, we work on academics, we work on their value system, which is very much required. Recently also many of our students had been to one outbound program. I take a pride in saying that the feedback which we got, that they were the most well behaved.
Oh, wow.
So that's very amazing. Clearly today when you look at it, even if you have a knowledge, you have a skill, but attitude matters. So that was a biggest, I told you, the testimonials prove that we are in the right direction. So they had been to one of the program where there were around 12,000 students and we got a very good feedback of our students.
I think, sir, I read that you have a strong vision which has a lot of empathy and emotion for students to do well.
Without which we can't survive. It's very simple. If you take your job as only job, you cannot give output. So as it is applicable to us, same is applicable. That is what we are trying to see to it, that our students also, when they enter the corporate, they don't take their jobs merely as a job. And you asked me one question about the pressure and I highlighted the difference between the pressure and stress. When you are passionate about your job, it's only pressure.
Oh, yes.
When you are not passionate about your job and you want to do it, then it becomes stress. So we see to it that students become passionate to what they are doing. And we also tell them, do what you love to do.
Over a period of 2 years,
Very clearly. And
they
moreover,
kind of get the clarity of
see,
it.
as a beginner, they may have to settle with what even they don't like.
Oh, yes.
We also see to it and we make them confident enough to initially, but that's not your final job. You groom yourself and eventually you settle what you love to do or what you like to do or what you're passionate about it.
Wonderful, great. I think that this insight should help a lot of aspirants to get the right perspective before they start their college.
Yes, so there are three things which I would like to highlight. First, be very positive, which I generally do tell when they come for counseling.
Yeah.
Because what happens with your positivity, you're going to see everything working, right? Everything moving ahead.
Oh, yes, yes.
Second, commitment is must. That's where the pressure lies.
It does. Yeah.
Which we have been talking about and it again and again. Commitment and hard work has no solution, because many people say that management is all about smart work and no hard work. But let us be very honest. It is first hard work, then smart
and then,
work.
Yes. I think the journey starts from there.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So I'd like to close the session with one really important question. A lot of students stop at graduation and they do not pursue MBA MMS because they also have their family business. So they say, I should start early and get into the business. Will a program like an MBA MMS help their family business?
Very much.
Okay.
So yesterday I was with one of my ex-student whom I've taught around 3-4 years back. He started working in a mid-sized company, then he moved to 2 big companies, and then he started his own business, which is parallel to his father's business. So yesterday evening when he was with me, I asked him, how is it different? So he said, my father used to do a business which was quite standardized.
Okay.
The only thing what I do is the same business with more customization. And then I asked him, has your MMS degree really helped you? Well, so that is where it really came to my mind that I can do same thing differently. And one more thing which I would like to tell you, his father's business was a very traditional business, like a sole proprietary or a partnership. So he started with his private limited company. I asked him, why not LLP? And he had a very genuine answer that, nahi sir, LLP ka ye constraints hai, these are the constraints. And definitely I want to see my company growing. And this is only possible with a private limit. So very clearly, you can be quite confident to bring more professionalism in your business when you are a management grad.
The program that for all the students that they can apply. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Vira.
Thank
it
you
has
so much,
been a
Dinesh.
pleasure
Thank you
to
so
host
much.
you. And audience, I hope all of you love this session. I would ask all of you to take great insights from this session, because this definitely is a career mentoring session. We had the privilege of Dr. Vira bless you today. And once again, thank you so much. My name is Dinesh Jambe, your corporate trainer and show host. Thank you for being a part of this podcast. And for more such inspiring content, please follow our Instagram channel, Pillai HOC College, LinkedIn, PIMSR, PHI, MSR, and on YouTube, Pillai Group Online. I hope this inspires you, and all the very best. Thank you.